I'm Jody Fomer and an office manager with Kruse Law Firm. Here today with me is Senior Managing Partner and Owner Mike Kruse. Here today to talk about the COVID-19 protocols of criminal cases in the Superior Court of Justice in Ontario. With that said, Mike, we're going to go back to the beginning of when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. All very devastating time for everyone, confusing time. And with regard to the Superior Court of Justice cases, bring me back to what was going on in March with criminal cases that were scheduled or in the Superior Court of Justice in Ontario.
Oh, thanks for that introduction, Jody. It's great chatting with you as usual. Always
Thanks,
look forward
Mike.
to these podcasts with you. Great question. So, as we know, the Superior Court of Justice, there's problems right away in the sense that, look, it's not safe to be in the courtroom in March. So immediately about mid-March, they said they declared all trials are paused. They were suspended from about mid-March to July 6th. There was no trials taking place.
Nothing going on.
And that was a bit of a disaster, right? Because you've got people sitting in jail who are presumed innocent, some who are maybe in fact truthfully innocent, waiting for their trials for up to 2 years at that point, and their jury trials put over.
Collapse, yeah.
And the only things that were taking place for a while were urgent guilty pleas. Obviously, a person who's in custody, that's urgent because they're languishing, doing dead time, right?
Right.
Everyone who was out of custody, their trials were put over too, and they couldn't plead guilty. So what was happening, there was a backlog of cases getting put over right until July 6th when they resumed. In the meantime, the ministry said, look, we need to get up to speed here because this could go on for a while. How are we going to reopen safely? So what they did was they renovated about, which is a small subset. There's 52 Superior Court of Justice courthouses across the province. So it's a lot. They only initially renovated 53 to make it safe with plexiglass, with social distancing, with lines on the floor, limited seating, enhanced cleaning to get ready for these trials. But there was this panic about all this delay that was going on.
Yeah, of course.
So they put all these protocols in place, how they're going to safely reopen. They put all protocols about new procedures. There's now electronic filing. We're trying to go paperless. We're doing electronic designation. So all these things are happening to bring us in the 21st century. It's all laid out in great, somewhat complicated detail on the Superior Court of Justice website. I certainly encourage the viewer to, if you're charged with offense, you could probably look up your particular situation there.
You can. It's a bit cumbersome, even for myself, to navigate through that website.
Yeah, our staffs basically had to memorize that website, haven't they?
That caused nightmares, that website.
And each little courthouse has also put in place their own little protocols, too, about how they want filing, who to send it. So we have to know that
More nightmares.
in all the counties in Western Ontario that we operate in.
But we're doing it.
We're doing it. We have multiple offices. So it's been very interesting how they slowly rolled it out. The Crowns were offering, because of this, for people in custody, they were offering reasonable deals to try and move the files.
Move the file along.
So, for example, someone who had a trial this summer, just to give you an example, who was facing, say, the Crown wanted 7 years in jail, and there's a shot at winning it, maybe they were offered a 4-year deal, something reasonable to take it on a cost benefit. So the Crown won and defense won because the Crown knew they could lose the trial, defense knew they could win, but I'm getting a deal. So that was happening.
So a little few benefits along the way with regard to, for us being criminal defense lawyers, and getting some decent results and whatnot because of the backlog in COVID pandemic.
Absolutely. And, the things we're proceeding then were guilty pleas in custody.
In custody.
They were doing bail reviews, I understand. They did some appeals. They were doing virtual. They got this virtual technology in place, all leading up to reopening the actual trials.
For sure, yeah.
Now, it was a great time to hire a lawyer. It still is. If you mean it, most people who are in Superior Court may have already had a lawyer. If you don't, you should hire one because that lawyer is going to probably get you a better deal than you normally would.
For sure.
And now you can set your trial date as of July 6th. So let's fast forward then. They worked hard all summer to do this. They put in place all these protocols. They put in place all these new procedures, bringing us into the 21st century with technology that they didn't have I mean, my God, the court was outdated before that. But now we're mostly paperless, which is great. And July 6th trials started, so we had to prioritize these people who were in custody. You're languishing, you're presumed innocent, so their trials have restarted, been scheduled. The second priority is out of custody people. We can now set a trial date for those, but again, delay may happen. We don't know, because that's why the good deals are happening. And they continue to renovate courtrooms, which is a great thing. And now for an out of custody matter, which is not urgent, which is not separate trial, but you want to resolve it, you can. That can be done.
So things are moving along now.
Exactly. And many things are being done virtually, which is a great thing with the technology. They're doing virtual bail hearings. You can do a virtual trial.
So it seems as though, Mike, the longer the pandemic lasts, the better that the ministry and the courts and everybody are getting, they're also getting better at putting things in place to allow us to move forward in a much more timely manner.
Oh, absolutely. And what a great job they've done. Let's face it, there's a learning curve. There's been some glitches, but it's been remarkable. They've spent millions of dollars. It's coming together, and I'm very impressed with the ministry's done.
And honestly, Mike, I don't feel like it took them that long to do something, because, of course, this was the unknown. Like, no one knew or could anticipate that this would happen, in today. And I think they've taken great steps in a short period of time to at the very least, get things back moving. And now we're pretty much, I mean, although there is still a backlog, but we're pretty much moving along as if the pre-COVID pandemic days.
No, absolutely. It's just been remarkable how quickly they've been able to mobilize resources.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
We've had a lot of experts.
They had committees struck between the judges, the judiciary,
Everyone
the Ministry
had
of the
an
Attorney
input.
General. A great shout out to the Ontario Criminal Lawyers Association. There was discussions about all these complicated
It's
protocols.
constant, yeah.
And they put it together. It's packaged on the website if you can understand it.
Yeah, stay off that
We
website.
can. It just takes a while to read it. But you have to learn each individual courthouse protocol too.
Yeah, for sure.
So, going forward, I think that they're going to be able to solve the delay problem if they keep offering deals. And they're going to be able to get people moving in custody. And they're just keeping renovating courthouses. And this topic's also covered under the Ontario Court of Justice as a similar topic. I go into a little bit more depth in the Ontario Court. But bear in mind, only, maybe 5%, like the Superior Court of Justice is the most serious cases in our system. So only between 5 and 10% of criminal cases wind up there. Although the Court of Justice does serious cases as well, the only cases that get to Superior Court are your serious sexual assaults.
Serious sexual assaults, murders.
Murder, aggravated assault, break and enter. These are serious crimes. And
So in essence, for criminal law anyway, Ontario Court of Justice is far busier than Superior Court of Justice in the essence of, like you say, how many cases end up there.
true, but don't forget, the Superior Court of Justice handles lawsuits and
No, I know that, but from our
yes,
perspective.
absolutely.
Right? But you're right, like the Superior Court of Justice, unlike the Ontario Court of Justice, does like family law issues, lawsuits, landlord stuff, also, litigation, car act, like civil.
States, everything.
Estates, yeah, and they have, and many, many different of those avenues all have one office, I guess what's it called, Mike, the registrar's office, where you go and file all of these pertinent documents. Luckily for us in the criminal world, for us, we don't need to go to that registrar's counter. But I mean, so all of those people, they were completely shut down, and nothing, even electronically at the beginning of COVID, was being able to even be filed. So everything basically at both levels were at a complete halt. So they really did a great job at coming back so quickly within several months of getting their mindsets together and getting all their experts in place and input from defense and crowns and judges and ministry and whoever to put the protocols that they have in place.
Absolutely. And, imagine how complicated it was with the Superior Court, because
I can't imagine.
They didn't have to just worry about criminal. They had to worry about civil,
Nightmare.
family, estates, filings. So the technology is now allowing us to do things electronically. That's the beauty of it. And I've been very impressed with it. I mean, obviously there continues to be some glitches which will be improved, but I think at some point, knock on wood, in 2021, there's
Hopefully this is the future, is not the pandemic wise, for sure, but the electronic part of how things can be done.
at some point in 2021, I will say things are going to be smoothly run in the courts. I don't know what month that's going to happen, but if they keep doing what they're doing, this system's going to be a beautiful system. And the thing is, it's going to be a system that we can thrive in the future post-COVID. That's the beauty of it.
Well, it's a good thing that one of our former colleagues, Alec Fishoff, retired because he would hate this new electronic stuff.
Well, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. You know, I've been practicing now for over 30 years, and Alec, I think, was at 45 or so. And he got on to electronics pretty good with this, but
He did.
you know, he was an old paper and pen guy. He did great.
He liked to dictate stuff still, yeah.
He was a master lawyer, though, in the courtroom, wasn't he?
Ugh,
Yeah, there's something to be said for
we
pen and
miss
paper.
Alec.
The thing about the last word I'll give this, a trial is a trial. The trial itself and the way you conduct a trial, although with all the electronics, nothing much changes that over 100 years. It's the same techniques, isn't it? But the way we prepare and the way we file documents and the way we wind up in court is much different than it ever was. And
Yeah.
anyway, I got to give a great shout out to all the players in the system and the Ministry of the Attorney General, Doug Downey, to be commended for what they're doing, and let's keep it up.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Mike.
Oh, hey, thanks for joining me as usual, Jody. These are great podcasts. I always enjoy kibitzing with you, the odd joke and whatnot, the odd needling, but that's great. And thanks to our viewers. I hope you're getting something out of these podcasts, and we look forward to you watching the next podcast. See you soon.
Thanks so much.
I really hope you enjoyed our podcast. We are absolutely committed to bringing you informative and interesting criminal and DUI content. If you're watching this on YouTube, I ask and encourage you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you happen to be an audio listener, please follow us and stay tuned for more great content. If you've been charged with a criminal offense or a DUI in Ontario, please call us or reach out to us online with the contact form found at kruselaw.ca.